Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about integration and volume, but the only thing I'm going to focus on is for those of you who are like, help, I have trouble sketching. So sketching is the key for finding volume by integration, because if you have the sketch, like everything else honestly comes together. If you don't have the sketch, then it's going to be really difficult. And so if you are struggling with the sketching because you're getting really hung up on all the details, this video is only going to focus on how to draw the sketches. And I have another video where I'm going to show you how to fill in formulas and stuff, but this I feel like can cause enough anxiety that I thought I would just make a video that only focuses on this for a minute. Okay, so I have guided notes for this. Something I strongly recommend is that you work on this with me. So I hope that you have at least a piece of paper in front of you. If you just watch me do this, you are not going to get any better at this. You're going to have to pause. So let's go through this first one together. All right, so I'm going to sketch the region bounded by 3x, x equals 2, and y equals 0, and then I want to show the solid of a revolution obtained by revolving this region around the x-axis. Okay, so this is actually a two-part question. You want to keep this region separate from the solid. They're two separate drawings, and I think it's just cleaner to keep them separated. So first things first, I think that these are just like lines, right? So I would strongly recommend, let's just build your confidence up if you're struggling with this. Just draw this region. Pause, hit play when you're ready. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sketch this region. Okay, so let's see. This is just a line, right? And let's see, I think this is actually going to go up to 6. So here's the first part. Here's where x equals 2, and then y equals 0 is this axis here. So the region is just this, okay? Now I want to keep this separate from all of the solids that I'm going to draw. So I want you to not mess with this drawing, okay? Okay, so all I want to do is just draw what is the solid revolved about the x-axis. Okay, so this is the x-axis, right? So here's what I do. I don't make, you do not need a perfect sketch. If you get really hung up on the units and, oh, I've got to mark it perfectly and all that, you don't need that. You really just need a little sketch to orient yourself. So I want you to watch what I'm going to do. I need to basically take this picture and just reflect it over this line. That's what I need to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a little sketch. There's my original drawing. And now I just want to draw it flipped over this line. And so here's my solid. So now that I look at this, so you also want to kind of now orient yourself. Remember, you want to think about this picture. It's like coming out of the screen and swinging around the x-axis. So what is this? This is just a solid, right? This is a solid. It's like just almost like a solid, like circular pyramid, right? Or cone, I guess. Cone would be the right word. So if you get a little confused by that, you can always draw just like, you know, a little circle here, just to kind of remind yourself that this just goes all the way around. Sometimes orienting yourself that way can help. But this is all you need. This is the solid, okay? So if you don't care about having the other sides, that's fine, but this is enough of a picture to orient yourself, and this is a solid. Okay, so let's keep going with this. So now I want to revolve about the y-axis. So I'll bring my region back. And since we already know what the region looks like, we can just work on sketching. So this is my y-axis, right? So now I want to swing around. So it's the same thing. Notice, I'm not setting up anything with units. I'm just trying to get a sketch. So here's this. I need to now reflect this picture just directly over this line. So it just needs to look the exact same over this line. So there you go. There's my sketch. Now, again, you might get a little confused with like, what does this actually mean? So it might be helpful to just kind of draw like, you know, this kind of divots all the way down. So this part here, this is solid, and everything in here is open. So now this is like a bowl, right? It's kind of like a bowl. So if I wanted to draw like a little opening of the bowl, I could do that. That's also fine. So if you're getting confused as to what is the shape, consider just coloring it in. Okay, so that's around the y-axis. So now let's make it more confusing. This is really where I see drawings fall apart. So show the solid of a revolution by revolving this region about the line x equals 2. Okay, so first of all, where is x equals 2? X equals 2 is right here. So what I want to do when I do this is I need to now reflect. So I'm really reflecting over this line. So I need to draw what I have. Here's my triangle. And then I'm just going to mark in pink so I can really remember this. So you might find it helpful to use like another color. I'm going to mark, this is what I now need to reflect over. So it's the same principle, okay? This is my line x equals 2. I literally now just take what this is and reflect it over the other side. Again, I'm not really concerned about units, but now this allows me to see what's going on. And this is still a solid now. So this is a solid all the way through from how we've reflected it. Okay. Now, let's go about the line y equals -2. All right, so same thing, right? So now this is where I think people can kind of get thrown off a little bit. So I'll go through this maybe one more time. All right, so here is my triangle. Where is the line y equals -2? So here's 1, 2. Here's the line. Okay, so I totally get why this messes with people's heads. So you just have to like make sure that you're properly reflecting this. So now I need to take this, the entirety of this whole side. So all of this, okay? All of this has to get reflected across. And so I think where this can kind of mess with people is that they forget about the gap. So one way to help yourself with that is to, okay, so here's a gap of 2, right? So I just want to make sure then that I don't start this until I've got that gap of 2. And now I need to flip this at this point. You see what I'm saying? So I've got the gap of 2, that's the proper reflection, and now I just reflect the rest of this over. And so now it's going to go this, this, and this. And so again, you might find it helpful to draw like these lines here so that you can remember what this looks like. And this now is a bizarre looking tube. Okay? All right, so that's the principle behind all of this. So now let's move on to maybe just a slightly harder region. So I've got this new region and we want to, well, first we want to sketch the region. So if you're really trying to understand this, I really do want you to pause the video and sketch this on your own and then hit play. You will get more out of this and you'll understand this so much better if you actually try this. And the worst that happens is you get something wrong and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so I want to just walk you through like how I approach this, I guess, because I don't know what this looks like. I didn't do any prep in advance for this video. I literally just want you to see my thought process. So I don't know exactly what this region is going to look like. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw myself like a generous little axis so that I can figure out what this looks like and give myself plenty of space. So I've got the square root of x, so I've got 0, 0, 1, 1. Let's see, I've got 4, 2. So here's the square root of x. And then 2x minus 1, so that's going to start here up to over, let's see, up to over 1. Okay, and so now I can see, and then I've got the line x equals 0, which is this one right here. So I can see this little region is what we're talking about. Now the key to this again is all about the drawings. So if you draw a sketch like this and then it comes out to something kind of tiny, this is a little hard for me to see. Don't be afraid to redraw it, okay? We need a good sketch to orient ourselves. So let me clear this out and just redraw it. Okay, so I kind of like zoomed it in and then I just kind of marked what my curves were. So this is good enough now for me to reference. Okay, so we've talked enough about this now that I think you should be able to just sketch this. So again, don't get super caught up on having now perfect coordinates. I just want the shape of what this salad is going to look like. So you pause here and you revolve around the y-axis, and then let's meet up there. Okay, so I just need to draw something that goes like this. So that's one side, right? So see how I'm like not super perfect about my coordinates? I don't care what they are. And then I just have to draw the same reflection over this way. So I have this like bizarre, it's kind of got a big divot in it, right? And again, like if it helps you, you can always like color it in. So this is all the solid. And, you know, it's got this open mouth here. Okay. All right, so let's make it harder. So now I want to take the same solid and revolve around the line x equals 4. So let me bring back my region. Okay, so we're going to want to just know where x equals 4 is. So x equals 4, let's see, let's 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say I've got this line here, okay? So I want you to do your best to sketch this out to the best of your ability. If you get confused, it's totally fine. We have 2 more examples, so just try it and hit play when you think you're ready. You will learn more if you try. Okay, so the first thing I have to do is I just have to sketch this region. And so I'll just go, so I'm going up here, and then I go up here. So here's this first region, right? So now I need to rotate this all the way over this line. And so this again is where I think you can get a little disoriented. So notice I need to go 1, 2, 3 to get to that line. So maybe what I want to do then is I want to mark 1, 2, 3 over that line. And this is where the tip of this needs to be reflected, right? So we're kind of thinking now, if this were fresh ink and this were a paper crease and I were to fold this over, what would it look like on the other side? So I've maintained the gap 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and now I can draw the other side, which is here's the little top piece that goes to here, and then we've got the piece that kind of connects underneath. Okay, so it's not a like perfect drawing, but again, it's enough so that I can figure out what the heck is going on here. I really just need to know that this is like a very bizarre looking tube, right? So this is the wall of a tube going all the way around. All of this space in between is a gap. And so if that's throwing you off, then, oh, I'm having a problem with my pen here. If that's throwing you off, sketch where the solid is so that you can really clearly visualize it. And now I can see this is solid, and remember, all of this would be in the front too, right? So this would wrap all the way around the front. So I don't know, maybe you could even like just kind of remind yourself, right? Wraps all the way around like that. Okay, so there's that one. Now let's go around the line y equals 3. Okay, so once again, I suggest that you pause here, try to sketch it, hit play when you're ready. Okay, so in this case, so let's see, I'm going to go ahead and sketch here. So I know I go from here to here and then down here. And my line y equals 3. So let's see, there's 1, 2, 3. Here's my line, y equals 3. So this is what I need to reflect across. So once again, I need to count here. This is 1, 2, 3. And this is really from this top space, this is going up 1, 2. So I'm kind of just making a few observations here to help me maintain this. So the bottom of this needs to start, let's see, 1, 2, 3 away. And the top of this needs to start 1, 2 away. Okay, so here's where I need to start. So remember, I am now flipping this over. So where this was, now this is going to be the underside. So let's see. I'll just sketch from here to here. And then I've got this straight line going one more down and going this way. Okay, and so now what kind of shape do I have? I once again have a super bizarre looking tube. The tube has this giant opening here. And again, so the face of the tube, there's like, it's going all the way across like this. So this has a big giant hole in it. So that's good enough to help us kind of orient ourselves. All right, so we have one more. Y equals -2, same idea. If you haven't tried this, this is kind of your last, last attempt. So give it a go. Hit play when you think you've got it. Okay, so in this case, so let's see. Here's my x-axis, here's 1. So I'm just gonna kind of draw again. Okay, there's my shape. Let's see, draw here, straight line. Okay, so here's my line, y equals -2. So now in this case, I need to maintain this gap of 1. And now, when I reflect over, this part comes first. So this is going to go straight out. And then I've got that domed top. And so now, once again, I have another tube, right? Another bizarre looking tube. And these are the outer walls of that tube. And so it's going to have, like, again, kind of this front, this shape here. If we could pop it out of the screen, it's going to go all the way around. Okay, so I hope that this kind of gives you a sense of how to do the sketch. It's really important to not have anxiety about this, and it doesn't have to be super perfect. It's enough just so you can kind of see, oh, there's a giant hole, or oh, it made a solid. So you've got to be able to visualize that, and then you've also got to be able to label this. So this is really the key step in everything else that you've got to do with volume. I have another video where I break all of that down, so I strongly recommend, if you're struggling with this, that you go check out that video. I will talk to you guys next time. Thank you for watching.